Это радиомикрофон. Раз, два, три. Так, один, два, три.
Я не хочу.
goods and industry. So in a never-changing international labor market, it's the responsibility of the world's economies to ensure that everyone is prepared for a new digital era, new digital environment. And in this regard, universities should not only contribute to comprehensive development of students, but also respond to the growing demands of economic system and form harmonious ties between universities, business and industry. So, on our opinion, activities in this area will allow the Apec economies to minimize the consequences of global economic instability, especially in today's post-pandemic period, and strengthen the mutual beneficial relationship between the economic and academic sectors. So, before we proceed, let us remind you the rules of our today's session. We have all the speakers present their ideas and reports. Hence, please keep in mind the duration limits. So we have 5 minutes for presentation, and then in that case, we will run all this session due to our schedule. We'll have 20 minutes left for open discussion, and that's when we can held like some kind of communication on free topics. So let's start the first session, and I'm glad to invite Professor Dr. Ir Nizam, Director General of Higher Education, Research and Technology, Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, Republic of Indonesia. Dear Professor, you're welcome. Can you hear us?
Hello, good morning.
Hello, you're welcome.
Yeah, may I present now?
Yes, you can start.
Okay, so thank you very much. Good morning, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very glad to be with you this morning in this very interesting Apec conference. Please allow me to share screen. I have problem to share screen.
Do you have the rights on sharing the screen? I mean,
okay.
Technically. There is a green button just below the screen.
Yes, but it says that we need permission to share your screen.
Yes. Коллеги-организаторы, у нас можно открыть доступ к расшариванию экрана?
Okay, anyway, maybe I will not put the PowerPoint presentations, but I would like to share with you the thought of Indonesia in addressing the challenge of interaction between industry and university through emancipated learning or Merdeka Belajar. We know that we are now challenged with the dynamics of the workforce, the dynamics of the industries, and also the dynamics of the economy. And as we know, due to the development of information technology, especially, many jobs disappeared from our workplace. In Indonesia alone, based on McKinsey analysis, more than 23 million jobs will be disappearing in the next 10 years. And that is due to automations and the robotics and artificial intelligence and the like. However, there are more jobs that can be created coming out of the new technology, twice the number of jobs disappearing. However, the new jobs is not yet available today. So we have to prepare competencies for our graduates, for our students, to be more agile, to be more adaptive, to prepare for the future jobs that is not yet there in the job market. So our vision is to bring Indonesia into becoming developed countries. And currently, we are facing with the challenge of the middle income countries trap. The only way to move from middle income to developed countries is, of course, the productivity of human resources, its creativity, its competitiveness, as well as on innovations. So those two things, preparing the human resource for the futures, and at the same time, developing the innovation is very necessary to make sure that Indonesia can escape from the middle income country trap. And for that, we emphasize the importance of educations from elementary schools to university level. At the university level, we emphasize on two things, quality and relevance. In addition, of course, to access. Currently, around 37% of high school graduates go to universities. And so that's more than 1/3 of high school graduates, and the rest goes directly into a workforce. And to accelerate the quality of higher educations, one thing that we make sure is to put the digital technologies into educations, because this is important given that Indonesia is country with 17,000 islands spread all over the place. Therefore, giving access to students can only be make universal through information technology. Currently, we also have Open University, which is open distance learning for adult learners, which currently serve for more than 500,000 students, in addition to around 8 million students that go into conventional higher education institutions. And to make sure that there is no gap between what we prepare for the competencies and the need of the industries, we link the two systems between educations and workforce. We link the two through emancipated learning program. Basically, we give our students the rights to have up to 3 semesters out of their study programs. In Indonesia, the bachelor level is 8 semesters. Out of that 8 semesters, student can choose up to 3 semesters to study, to learn from outside their subject. For instance, a student in economics, she believes that the future is on digital technology. So she can take artificial intelligence, big data analytics, Internet of Things in engineering faculties, for instance, on information technology faculty. That gives the flexibility for students to prepare their future, to give them flexibility to path their own way to the future job. And in addition to that, we have a set of menu, 9 opportunities of students to spend out of the 3 semester, 2 semester outside their campus. So they can go internship in industry as part of the degree program, fully funded by government. They can also do teaching if they want to become a teachers in remote schools which need teachers. They can also go take micro credentials. This is very important because many competencies like AI, big data analytics, Android programming, for instance, UI, UX, might not be available in their university, might not be available in other university as well, but they can take it from the industry. They can take it from Coursera, Udemy, or you name it, whatever providers that provide that certified training. And we design that training together with industries to fit with the need of the industries. So 1 full semester up to 20 credits, that's full credit of 1 semester, 6 months, is designed to fill the needs of the students. they can learn many things that is not yet available in the curriculum. So that kind of thing make the learning path to be more flexible, more adaptive, and future-oriented, to make sure that students have the opportunities, have the competencies they need to prepare themselves to meet the challenge of the futures, including also to go for entrepreneurships. Students can start entrepreneurial project, for instance, in their final years. So when they graduate, they already have a startup business, for instance. And that will be supported by and mentored by the industry, by small, medium enterprises. And they can also have sociopreneurships in village to work on intensive farming, using the Industry 4.0 technologies and many things. So we also transform the university to link with the industry through what we call matching fund. Currently in Indonesia, industry is not yet oriented toward R&D. While we believe that the future of industries depends on R&D, depends on innovations, the spending of industries in R&D compared to government spending in R&D is about a quarter. So the national spending on R&D is still very low, around 1.1%, 0.1%. And out of that, 75% come from government. So we would like to engage more industry to spend in R&D. How we do that? We provide a matching fund. Any dollars the industry spend to the university on research and development, government provide matching dollars. So it doubles the investment from industry, and at the same time double the resources of the government. And this goes to university to do research that is more oriented toward the need of the industries, toward the need of the society, toward the need of the community. Through this matching fund, we call it Cche Reka, we emphasize on 6 areas of development. One is digital economy, second on green economy, third on blue economy, given Indonesia 75% of the area are water, and technology and medical health and medical devices, and fifth on tourism and creative economy, and sixth on the food and agriculture. And through this matching fund, this year the government provide around 1 trillion rupiah. It's about $60 million. And the industry are very attracted to this matching fund, and the call from industry is about 4 times the resource that government provided. This indicates that this matching fund is really accelerating the link between university and industry, and at the same time it also brings our students to the need of the industry, because in this applied research usually it involves students. Students also engage in the research and development for those industries, so they become the future engineers of the industry. At the same time, they work already for the industry for their R&D. So I think that concludes my presentations, and thank you very much for the opportunity. And I'm sorry for not able to share the PowerPoint. I will share it later. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Iranizam. It's a poor situation that we are not able just to run your presentation. But anyway, the information is quite useful. Very much thank you for your speech. Next speaker is a representative of India, Professor Dr. Gurinder Singh, Group Vice Chancellor, Amity University, a renowned scholar and academician in the area of international business. Professor Gurinder Singh, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and first of all, congratulations to the organizers of this great conference. I am participating in FIFU's conference for the 4th time. So my compliments to the organizers, and the Far Eastern Federal University has really done well by bringing some of the leading speakers. I can see many friends internationally who are here and whom I have met previously. My respectful regards and compliments to all. As far as the entrepreneurial university is concerned and internationalization is concerned and the international experience of interaction between universities and industry is concerned, I think 4 factors are very important, and I will like to narrate one of the incident which happened, I think, about a decade back when Dr. Kalam, who was an honorable president of India, became the president. He took some of the leading universities to Africa. It's very unusual. Normally, the presidents and the political delegations, they take industry with them. But he was the first president, a very visionary president, who thought that why not to take universities vice chancellors to Africa. So he took few of them. I was privileged to be a part of that delegation. And when he went to the Addis Ababa and he started speaking with the African nations, his first sentence was that I am going to gift Africa something which they will remember for centuries. And when he said that, the people clapped for 3 minutes. They were clapping all around. And his next sentence was, but not $1 to give. So people were thinking that what he is going to give, if he's not going to give any financial aid, then what Dr. Kalam is going to give. And at that time, long time back, he gave a concept of virtual education, bringing industry closer to the education, and how you can create universities which can create entrepreneurial values in the students. He invited at that time European Union to be a part of this very exciting project and implement that in Africa. But by the end of the day, it was concluded that Africa was not ready. Infrastructure was not good. They have very poor internet facilities, and it will be a challenge to deliver the virtual education in Africa. As a very visionary president, he came back to India and he invited some of the leading universities, including all IITs, some public universities, some private universities. And I remember in that meeting, 19 vice chancellors were present and 17 said that it is not possible to implement this model. Anyhow, he took that challenge. We became the partner of the Ministry of External Affairs and implemented this project in Africa. Initial target was that we will have 1,000 students and will be able to educate students by transferring free credits. It was a very new concept at that time. Will you believe it? How many students were able to get educated through this one? 1,000 was the target. 40,000 students took the benefit. 40,000. So that is the speed of technology. And that is how the visionary educationists, visionary leaders, they contribute in creating the entrepreneurial universities. Today we are sitting in 2022 when the whole world is talking about that how the universities should look like. And when we talk about the entrepreneurial universities, we need to see that in the last 3 years, education sector has totally changed. We have seen that the big universities who had got excellent infrastructure, they totally failed in the last 3 years. Whereas the universities which were totally prepared through virtual education or were able to create good content or were having the good hybrid facilities, they were able to give the best to the world. So I think that the time has come up where we need to look, where we need to examine, where we need to analyze that what changes are required in the education system. So my first point would be the example of the new education policy which India has come up with. In the last 75 years, what we have seen in India is that the education and the universities which we were able to create, where we were teaching, they were great universities, but they were theoretical universities. With the new government, the Prime Minister Modi has tried that he should be focusing on the new programs where we should be able to offer joint degrees, dual degrees, invite foreign universities to create campuses, invite industry worldwide to have their presence in the universities. In India, 4 things have taken place. First, I think that what we have trying to do is that we want to make the global universities the partner in the growth of India. And what we have done is that along with opening up our new universities, we are trying that 1/3 of the education is done through the dual degrees and through the joint degrees, which were earlier not allowed, but now they are totally allowed in India. Second major thing which has happened in India is that we are trying that without investing in infrastructure, we should be able to bring some of the great universities of the world to our country and then taking India also to those great countries. At MIT, which I represent as a Vice Chancellor, what we have done is that for the first time, India created 17 foreign universities worldwide. We took our university to almost all the parts of the world. Today, MIT is present in 17 countries, including our campus in New York, which is a 175 acres campus, which we acquired from St. John's University, including our campus in San Francisco, where we acquired Presidio Graduate School, including our campus in Singapore, where we acquired the building of Chicago Business School, including our university in Middle East, where we created a wonderful university, which is having more than 10,000 students in Dubai, including a campus in Netherlands, having a university in London, and getting and becoming the first Asian university to have a university status in London, having 43 presence in 43 African countries virtually, working very closely with some of the leading organizations like Cche in Australia and creating our university in Australia. So these examples I'm giving you that traditionally it was seen that India is a country which will be only importing education. With the new education policy coming in, we started exporting our education. And the challenges were enormous, but the response which we got was very favorable. So this is my second point. I think that most of the new age countries who are looking at and using technology in the education, they must try to see that we can create meaningful partnerships. For example, why not to have a virtual university of the world through Apec, where we can assemble all the universities, maybe 100 universities can come together, create a common curriculum and start offering it to across the world. This is going to create a very high quality university because it will have the experts from almost 100 universities. It will have the expertise of some of the universities who are concentrating on the new age technologies like artificial intelligence, data analytics, machine learning. It will also have expertise of some of the universities who are very good in content creation. It will have some expertise of the universities which are very good in nuclear science, some who are very good in economics, some who are very good in econometrics, who are very good in biotechnology. So we need to understand that who is good in which area. And if these 100 universities, they come together and start accepting credit and offer joint programs, it is going to create something which the world really deserves, which the students really deserves. We can also look at point number 3, where we can bring some of the angel investors and the industry together. We did this experiment about 3 months back. We brought some of the angel investors and some of the leading companies, including Google, Microsoft, MasterCard, Infosys, Reliance, and many others together on a common platform. And we tried and we deliberated that can industry become the partner with the universities when we are offering the education. And I think industry said that we are not yet prepared, but we will be very happy to support universities if they come with a curriculum which is industry friendly. In other words, what we tried to do was that why not 50% of the credits should be based on the industry requirements than only on the academic requirements. At the end of the day, a student will be successful only when they will be able to work with the industry. So if industry is asking for the particular skills, why not to deliver those skills? So one, having a common university. Second, delivering and giving credits based on what the industry is asking for is actually going to create the entrepreneurial universities of the world. Third, I think that most importantly, we need to look at that infrastructure is great. But what we need to do now is to create a hybrid model where majority of the portion is not only delivered on the grounds of the infrastructural advantages which the universities have, but the advantage of technology. And we have seen in the last two and a half years that if you are able to deliver the programs on a hybrid mode, you're not only able to bring down the cost, but you are also able to give the kind of quality which the students are requesting for. And another thing which I would request all of you to look at is that looking at some of the problems which many universities are facing worldwide, which includes digital literacy, aiding skill development, collaboration internationally, creating creative problem solving, and engaging with the industry to implement the challenges of digital technology. I think that all these challenges, which includes commercialization of research. I was in US 3 weeks back and was discussing with some of our friends who are in some of the Ivy Leagues and in some of the universities in US, and was trying to understand that what are the challenges which that part of the world is facing. And when I came back, I went to Singapore, where we have got a campus to understand that how they are coping up. And then while coming back, when I was in India, I was looking at it, what are the major problems which all of us we are facing. I think that some of the problems which universities are facing is that they are able to do a lot of research. Good research work is being done. But if we look at commercializing the research, it is one of the major constraints, major issues on which they have to look at. So in India, under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, I think that one thing which most of the innovative universities are concentrating is that why not to commercialize research. So at MIT, we have kept a target that 1/3 of the research, we have filed more than 1,800 patents in the last 2 years, but 1/3 of the research which we are doing, we should be able to commercialize it. So we have brought some of the leading industries at the campus. For example, we have opened our technological labs in collaboration with Tata's. We have kept our all financial programs with some of the leading banks like HDFC, HSBC, ICICI. We are offering programs in collaboration with them. Similarly, our all construction programs, they are in collaboration with some of the companies of Middle East. We are trying that the issues related with artificial intelligence, machine learning, cryptocurrency, we are able to do with Tech Mahindra. So we are trying that somewhere about 50 companies, they should be a part of the university infrastructure and they should participate in imparting the education. But this is the first challenge which everyone is facing, challenges in commercializing and commercializing the research which at the university level academicians are conducting. Two, we also need to see that how we are paying the faculty. Word over, it's a phenomenon that the parity between the academicians and the industry salaries is very wide. As per the Leslie Committee and the Edgeworth formula, if we look at 85% is the parity. In other words, if someone is getting $1 in industry, right, it is getting only 55 cents in the field of academics. So to make our academics also getting something which is equivalent to the industry, we need to see that how we should be compensating the faculty. Otherwise, we will not be able to attract best of the talent to the universities. For which I think that giving more flexibility, incubating and helping our academicians to earn out of creating new companies and bringing best of the talent is the second challenge which we need to look at. Third major challenge is incubation. So most of the universities, they claim that they have got incubators. I got a chance to visit almost about 50 incubators in the last 4 or 5 years. And that is my passion, to look at some of the technologies. We work very closely with NTU, National and NUS in Singapore, who have got world-class incubators, and Dr. Inderjeet Singh, who belongs to from Indian origin, is the chairman of the NTU incubator, and we work very closely with them. But what we have seen is that incubation is a major challenge. The kind of incubators universities are creating, we need to see that what kind of funding they have. Are they able to really understand the needs of the industry? And do they have international linkages? Do they got the angel investors? So this is another area which we need to look at, how to create world-class incubators who really understand the problems of the industry and are able to guide students to create world-class companies. Fourth major challenge is competitiveness of online education. Though we have seen
Mr. Gurinder Singh, sorry for interrupting. We have quite it's like 10 minutes already. We need to move on.
I conclude here. So I think that these are some of the challenges: competitiveness of online education, industrial collaboration, innovations, incentives, technological progress. But it was such a pleasure meeting all of you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your speech. We move on to the presentation of Dr. Joseph Lee Yu Kwan, Vice Chancellor, INTI International University, Malaysia. Dr. Joseph Lee Yu Kwan has more than 20 years of experience as a lecturer, researcher, and administrator in the education industry in the United States of America, Malaysia, Hong Kong, and Singapore. His key expertise in theoretical and empirical research focuses on education and learning based on the economics perspective. Please welcome.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great pleasure to be at this conference to share with you my thoughts and also our practice in terms of entrepreneurial education. So today my talk will be first on the belief and our perception of what is entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial education. And the second part will be our practice and experiences at INTI, at our university. I hope you can see my slide. So definitely that we understand it is undeniable that we are living in a very dynamic digital era with many new creations that are affecting our daily life. Of course, we need to acknowledge that among other things, compared with a few decades ago, the developments in the communication which enable and support the long-distance exchange of large amount of information has really accelerated greater mobility. And as a result, with the convenience of digital technology advancement, together with a younger and more technological perceptive generation, the way business operate has changed, and the global market for goods, service, and labor have also been transformed, which also lead to the increasing importance of the small and medium-sized company, and therefore the importance of entrepreneurship for the economic. Apart from being the major engine for the job and economic growth in the sum of the economics. This phenomenon has been perhaps further complicated due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 coronavirus and its rapid escalation into pandemic in the early months of 2020, which we all experienced. Since then, all of us, nearly all aspects of life have been impacted and are going to change profoundly even after the pandemic. I think that is something that we are experiencing right now. While there are many implications of the unprecedented disruption due to the coronavirus, due to the pandemic, the job uncertainty and ambiguity is a reality now in many economics. Therefore, becoming entrepreneurs becoming a very obvious option for some of the young generation, and many of them move towards self-employment. And this trend, we believe, will continue to become an increasing important element of economic growth and a viable option for the younger generation. Being an entrepreneur can mean many things to many people. And of course, that a common understanding is that entrepreneurship is about entrepreneur individual creating innovative organizations that grow and create value, either for the purpose of for-profit or non-for-profit. And therefore, it is essential from our viewpoint to have an economic or financial infrastructure for the entrepreneurial behavior and to develop the entrepreneurial mindset of individuals to facilitate and to encourage self-employment. Needless to say, having a culture of the creation of new enterprise is a critical aspect of this environment, and it will encourage individuals to take the risk of starting a business which require progressive reinforcements through our learning journey, and that comes to the point of education, that comes to the point of entrepreneurial education. This increasing attention and movement into more emphasis on entrepreneurial education is driven by the understanding that entrepreneurship is seen as a major engine for economic growth and job creation in all the economics. Furthermore, we do need to understand entrepreneurial education is also seen as a response to the increasingly globalized, uncertain, and complex world we are living in right now, which require all people and organizations in the society to be increasingly equipped with entrepreneurial competency, which include cultivating ability in influencing the future, understand multidisciplinary interactions, anticipate the short and long term, set clear and purposeful goals, and foresee the consequences of their action. Those are the entrepreneurial competency for the entrepreneurial education must be able to cultivate. It is hoped with adequate preparation, younger generation is capable of injecting new business into the economy, thus creating jobs, promoting competition, and encouraging innovation for the benefit of the mankind. It is clearly understood entrepreneurial education is open into three different approaches. We can teach about entrepreneurship, we can teach for entrepreneurship, and we also can teach through, which means a process based on an open experiential approach where students go through an actual entrepreneurial learning process. This approach often leans on the wider definition of entrepreneurship and can be integrated into other subjects in general education, connecting entrepreneurial characteristics, process, and experiences to the core subject. This is the point we're really talking about creating the entrepreneurial mindset, and we need to engage our students in different areas. So let's move on to some of the experiences we have and how do we actually do that. At INTI, our mission is to bridge the needs of tomorrow through competencies of our students gained today, empowering them to become the leader, innovator, and game changers for the future. Therefore, through our innovative teaching and learning and extensive industry partnership, we empower our students with the ability to work with smart engine, to process and analyze data for better decision making, to learn about technologies that impact business and manufacturing process, and to develop professional skills such as adaptability, working with multidisciplinary team, problem solving, and a thirst for lifelong learning. Even though we set the target in such a way, we went through a lot of experiments, we actually gained a lot of experiences from the journey. And of course, that we also want to learn from the good practices from everyone here, and also benchmark against some of the industrial good practices as well. And in practice, over the years, INTI has cultivated a strong engagement with multinational companies and large local organizations on diverse platforms to foster innovation curricula and develop future-ready graduates. And this platform we have developed with our industry partner include industry award, scholarship, employer project, which we bring the problem from the industry to the classroom to share that with the student. And we also invite industry to come into our campus to provide bootcamp and career workshop. And we also invite captains and leaders of industry to come in to give industry INTI leadership series talk. And we also have faculty industry attachment program, industry advisory board, industrial skills certification, employer-centric curriculum, and internship and job placement, and coaching and mentor as well. Generally speaking, in the current higher education environment, the gap between theory and practice, we understand is still relevant as evidenced by the limitation of many graduates in applying the high level of theoretical knowledge as practice in the workplace, and in some cases lead to the need for a longer period of adjustment into certain professions. So that is why we are actually very much emphasized on bring the faculty to the industry, bring the industry to the classroom in order to bridge and close the gap. As such, we want to integrate learning experiences in collaboration with our industry partner and to provide exposure in both theory and practice. Furthermore, recognizing the importance of addressing the needs of both student and industry, we strive to remain at the forefront in ensuring the employability and job readiness of our graduates. And at least that is what we are trying to do. And so far, we are quite happy because our students are generally fully employed within a very short period of time after they graduate. Okay, just share with you another aspect of our experiences. In the present economic situation at INTI, we recognize that having knowledge of an academic discipline is no longer sufficient for a new graduate, so we cannot just teach from the textbook. Students are increasingly required to have skill and ability which will increase their employability, such as retrieval and handling of information. We are in the information age, communication and presentation, planning and problem solving. We are actually educating our students to solve problems is not existing now. So we need to make sure our students have that problem solving skill. And also we need to make sure that our students know how to engage with other people. The interaction is very important. These are the few aspects of teaching and learning activity. We believe we need to equip our graduates with ability to recognize commercial opportunity, to commercialize a concept, and to manage resource and to initiate a business venture. So that is what we do, and that is how we actually position ourselves in the entrepreneurial education at INTI. And I think we also want to mention that while we as a university are progressively embedding entrepreneurial education into our curriculum, teaching and learning strategy, we also consider ourselves as entrepreneur, or we call it entrepreneur. That is, we want to deliver quality of higher education with creative idea and through innovative approach. This is something we are very proud. There are quite a number of milestones I can share with you in the history of INTI. We established and offer credit transfer program with US University when we were a college, which enables students to complete the first 2 years of a 4-year bachelor degree program, leading to a US degree in Malaysia with more affordable tuition fee and saving on living costs. We are truly the pioneer in Malaysia in offering that kind of credit transfer program. That was more than 30 years ago. Of course, we were also the pioneer in developing partnership with UK University for 1+2 or 2+1 training arrangement, and which enables students to complete portion of the UK University's curriculum prior to complete the degree in UK. Those are the things that we have done in the past, and we are very proud to say that we are really the pioneer, and we try different innovative ideas in order to bring a new opportunity to our students. Of course, that in 1997, right after the ASEAN economic crisis, because of the depreciation of ringgit Malaysia, the local currency in Malaysia, and we commenced the 3+0 program, which enables students to complete their UK degree 3 years in Malaysia as well. Of course, now we are part of an international education group, and with that, we will have better connectivity for internationalization of higher education and good practice for industrial benchmarking. So lastly, I do want to mention INTI as a global engaged institution. INTI, we persistently seek cooperation with higher education institutions, government, and non-governmental entities throughout the world in order to get more insight on how to progress. And I think with our network of partner institutions, INTI wish to provide access to global resource and best practice and develop innovative and collaborative projects which are mutually beneficial. So with that, I would like to conclude my presentation today. And I hope that we will be able to meet with each other and exchange more ideas in the future as well. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, I'm asking you to speak, to limit your speech in 5 minutes, okay? Because we have a lot of speakers today, and we have no such time to set the speech more than 5 minutes. Please keep it in mind, okay? We move on to our Russian colleagues. I'm glad to invite Dr. Pavel Drogovos, Vice President for Scientific Affairs, Bauman Moscow State Technical University, Russia. Dr. Pavel Drogovos is an author of over 120 scientific papers on the issues of flexible management of innovative projects and programs, digital transformation of high technology industries, application of soft computing and machine learning in economic research. Dear colleague, the floor is yours.
Dear colleagues, best greetings from the city of Vladivostok, from the campus of Far Eastern University. I hope next time, maybe next year, we'll be able to meet here offline, because we have a nice sunny weather today, and I hope that we will enjoy it together. So if we ask about teaching entrepreneurship, I will hardly answer this question in 5 minutes, because we are living in the world of change and we face new challenges every day. And that's why we transform our study plans and our learning methods on everyday basis. But we keep in mind three areas that are unchanged. These 3 areas are 3 types of skills that we are developing at our university. So we teach entrepreneurship for engineering students, and I will make some addition to introduction by Nikita. I am the head of department for entrepreneurship and foreign economic affairs as well. So we teach entrepreneurship at the engineering university. 3 types of the skills. First of all, hard skills. These are such knowledges that we can take from the textbooks, from the lectures, math, physics, national culture, national business models, and so on. The second type is the digital skills. It's about data awareness, about gathering, analyzing and exploring data on the fly, about machine learning, AI, soft computing, and other types of skills and knowledge that we need in our digital time. And the last but not the least are the soft skills. This is about how to communicate with different types of stakeholders, both inside and outside of the projects. Then if we ask how to master these 3 skills at the engineering university, the question is in short the following. We are using our Russian method of engineering education. It's also called learning by doing. And about 100 years we are developing this method at our Bauman Moscow State Technical University. Now it is about making R&D laboratories, R&D centers, and about teaching the students inside of the university, about teaching the students for entrepreneurship by making some projects for our industry partners. So there are two types of teaching. First of all, teaching by lectures, and the second one is teaching by doing, by our R&D laboratories. So it's for in short.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now I'm glad to invite Mr. Binod Singh Chatro, Director, BRICS Institute, New Delhi. He is a PhD in international political economy from Peking University. Before founding the BRICS Institute in New Delhi in 2015, Dr. Chatro taught for several years at the various universities in China, where he lectured about Indian culture and civilization. His research focus is on science and technology cooperation among BRICS countries. Mr. Binod Singh Chatro, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Nikita. Thank you so much. Namaste from India. Здравствуйте, доброе утро, and ni hao. Sorry. Got little throat infection, so I'll be very brief. I'm very happy to see my Russian colleagues from FEFU from Vladivostok talking about international cooperation in education. And before me, you invited one of India's largest private university, MIT, to speak about what's happening in India and at the global level. Before I start my 5 points for today's conference, I just want to put one or two questions for the whole delegates today. The very first question is that last week, one of the Indian students who was waiting for his visa for Canada, the visa came late, and just day before the visa came, the student killed himself just because his visa was delayed. Hundreds and thousands of Indians are still trying to go to USA, Canada, Australia, UK to pursue higher education. So is that higher education in India is something wrong in quality or something? Or is it has become unaffordable? My input is that with more focus on technical education, some of the universities in India are trying to make higher education very unaffordable. And sometimes many students who come from middle backgrounds, they feel that studying in China, Russia, Ukraine, and other countries are far more cheaper than studying in India. And that's why when the Russian-Ukraine crisis started, we were shocked to know that there were 40,000 Indian students stranded there, and we had to evacuate them. And now, whether they want to continue their education is a big question for government of India. So this is one question, whether instead of trying to bring industry to university, what's happening in my country is that universities are becoming industry. And this is something what the first Prime Minister of India, Jawaharlal Nehru, wanted to avoid. So if I am allowed to quote here, Mr. Nehru said, "University stands for humanism, for tolerance, for reason, for the adventure of ideas and for the search of truth. It stands for the onward march of the human race towards ever higher objective. If the universities discharge their duties adequately, then it is well with the nation and the people." Unquote. All the universities in the world have their missions, what they want to achieve. That mission is very wide. It's very holistic in their approach. It's quite different from the approach of of course, economic. Yesterday in the forum, many speakers pointed out that without economic growth, it's not possible to talk about higher quality education or entrepreneurship or funding the research and everything. But at the same time, if we go back to the last 75 years, 80 years of our experiment in higher education, India did establish something on the model of United States. Some of the best IITs, IIMs, Indian Institute of Sciences. And we produced world-class engineers, which are well appreciated by different countries. But when we reflect back, what we realize that the economists, they call it brain drain. So even today, there's a very common phenomenon in India and Russia, in fact also in China, that some of the best of our minds still go for higher education, post-graduation to America and different countries, and they stay back there. The percentage is as high as 70%. So this forum is a very important forum to reflect. What can we do to retain our smart talent to contribute to our own economic growth? When India is growing very fast, it is going to need a lot of talent. So what is the model we can learn from different countries? I think Apec is a very successful model for university and industry partnership. Despite the marriage between the two groups is very difficult, but the model in United States practice something called PPI, is that instead of bringing industry to campus or making campus itself is industry oriented, we can establish new special autonomous institutions where the students of engineering don't become very mechanic in their thinking. At the same time, the students of humanities, arts, social sciences, they don't become very, unpractical or unrealistic or utopian. So in India, the current crisis of higher education, despite the government has come out with NEP, the new education policy, where we really reflect that the amount of scientific publications are far less than China, USA, and some other countries. We're trying to catch up, and the time is today very limited, Mr. Nikita, I can understand. I would like to conclude my speech with few best examples from India. India has done a wonderful job in giving ICT training for most of its youth with world-class quality. And today, if you see some of the best managers, whether it is Google, Amazon, Twitter, and Starbucks, is headed by Indians. They are taught and studied in India. There's something to be proud of this, but at the same time, when we reflect back, why not this example is successful in India? Of course, the problem is the policy making incentive. If one of our vice chancellors is saying that they're paying well for the teachers in India, that's factually incorrect. Mr. Nikita, you can record what I'm trying to say is that the salaries of faculties in India is far less. And that's why some of the best universities in India are not able to invite professors from Russia, from different countries. We would love to have colleagues from Russia to teach at Indian universities instead of sending our students to Russia. It's very cold sometime in Vladivostok. Okay, so my short recommendation at this forum is that FEFU can be a platform where, the knowledge transmission from Apec countries, including China, Japan, and Southeast Asia, could be transferred to the East, to the South Asia, to the West. And my institute, BRICS Institute, and Amity University, and other universities can be a very good platform. But we both sides need to compromise. India may not be able to pay the same package which you are getting in America and different countries. But the kind of quality of brain, students are very talented in India, and they can do some miracles. So I stop my speech here, and I really thank my young colleagues from Russia. Despite having difficult times, you bring India on the table. Thank you so much, Mr. Nikita.
Thank you very much for your speech. We are moving on to Professor Dr. Kavali Chadarong, Vice President for Strategic Planning, Innovation and Global Engagement, Chulalongkorn University, Thailand. Please welcome.
Okay, so good morning. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with you our experience of transforming the research and teaching university to an entrepreneurial university. In recent years, Chulalongkorn University has set a new strategy targeting demands of the social economy. We have been integrating student learning with business and industry through the university holding company named CU Enterprise. The university enterprise invests in enterprises that commercialize innovations originated from various departments in the university. The entrepreneurial innovation portfolio developed on this platform has already accumulated an impressive portfolio of 181 innovations. 1/3 of these innovations have already entered the market. Another 9 products are at the production stage. So while 28 are at the prototype stage. The innovations touch on various sectors, including health and well-being, education, decent work, and economic growth, and as well as sustainable cities and communities. This university industry, government, community, and citizen continuum leverages universities' academic and research skills while focusing on socio-economic impacts of the citizens. In the face of increasing uncertainties, the fast pace of technological innovations and global challenges such as climate change, COVID-19, and competitive geopolitics, the landscape of higher education at Chulalongkorn University is altering at a rapid pace. So to tackle these challenges and ensure relevance and impact, Chulalongkorn University has learned the initiated entrepreneurial university framework to integrate interdisciplinary partnership. One example is the creation of Veerbus and MoveMe, the real-time public vehicles tracking and navigating application for use around metropolitan Bangkok. The COVID-19 pandemic has also led to a string of innovations, including Chula strip test and nasal protection spray, developing robots for patient care, and several online and mobile applications. Chulalongkorn University Enterprise has proven to be instrumental during the COVID-19 crisis in bringing together innovators and investors to accelerate the advancement of research to market. With the good support of the potential alumni, the university can ensure the transfer of knowledge and technology and research results irrelevant to the social demands. So our student has also in this framework working together with our researchers, industry partners, as well as the society. Along with the policies of Ministry of Higher Education, Science, Research and Innovation, Chulalongkorn University reinvents our universities to draw out the potential of students to help driving the economy and provide solutions to solve social problems. The strategy includes manpower development, knowledge development, and system reform. As for the future generations of university graduates, they must possess morality, knowledge, and skills. Current useful skill set consists of creativity and innovation, critical thinking and problem solving, communication and collaboration, or 4C, that can be learned from the business run. In conclusions, the entrepreneurial venture has extended the role of higher education at Chulalongkorn University from mere educator to knowledge creator, society problem solver, innovator, connector, and agent of change. We bring together individualized learning preference, real-world experience and skill, global exposure, and lifelong learning for students. So that's all for the report of Chulalongkorn University in the role of an entrepreneurial university. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your speech. Okay, guys, next speaker is, I'm going to invite Ms. Natalia Gurgurova, Head of International Direction of the Academy of Management, School of Economics and Management, FEFU. Ms. Natalia Gurgurova will present on the topic, the experience of FEFU Management Academy in the formation of an entrepreneurial university.
Dear colleagues, thank you so much for this opportunity to contribute to the discussion, and let me please share our experience. So as Nikita has already introduced, I represent the Management Academy of the Far Eastern Federal University. And let me start with our definition and how we understand an entrepreneurial university. Could you please help me? Is it moving? Okay. Just a moment. So first of all, as clearly an entrepreneurial university shows entrepreneurial behavior in the market of educational services. And for us, it's important we have to provide knowledge transfer by offering new programs, whether in higher education and or continuing education, and with the main focus on the needs of customers, our individuals or customer organizations. Thirdly, employees, professors, students, we all have to participate in entrepreneurial activities. And actually, one of the priorities declared by the rector of the university is building space of freedom and entrepreneurship on our campus. So, and another important issue is close connections with the industry, both including regional, federal authorities, and industrial companies, helping them to solve the emerging problems. And talking about Management Academy, we establish close connections with the industry. That's the main component of all of our programs. But before that, let me introduce the academy as such. It's a business unit within the School of Economics and Management. It's with high degree of autonomy, which gives us actually the opportunity to be very flexible in adapting and changing the content of our programs. So at the moment we run MBA, Executive MBA, MPA, Project Management, and other short-term courses and micro-learning. Being fully commercial also allows us to be flexible in adaptations and experiencing and practicing culture of entrepreneurship. So I have to mention that the bigger school to which we belong, School of Economics and Management, in contrast doesn't have this opportunity to go through fast changes because the programs have to follow certain standards, and our small unit is more flexible in this way, and we have an opportunity to move to the desired direction. Another important issue so as I mentioned, the next slide, we stay in close interaction with the industry, and as already mentioned by the colleague from Bauman University, the format of learning by doing is the key of all our activities. What we do actually is not that we study the cases of some theoretical companies, but all of the cases are connected with the local businesses and their needs and requirements, and often they actually send the assignments to our students. For example, the local airport could give an assignment to our student of how they can optimize the check-in process for the flight for people who are flying at that university, at that airport. So company visits is a key essential part, and we visit different organizations, not only the ones that the students are coming from. So this gives the chance to get the broader understanding. And besides industrial connections, of course, we deal and participate in many governmental projects, such as promotion of employment, and currently we are teaching the public servants within Muravyev-Amursky project. And essential part, now the next slide, the essential part of our connections, of course, is with international partners. And I have to mention here that the components, international components within our programs are not of commercial interest for us. Even though we are like a business school, we do not take this interest in as a main point, actually as a mission of social editing value to our students, because they have to get this experience through our programs that will enable them to satisfy these needs that they have currently. For example, the unprecedented economic situation in our country at the moment allows our students to look at the new opportunities within the Asia-Pacific region, and we planning really soon the offline visits of Malaysia, Vietnam, and these programs will allow us to give the first-hand experience of the foreign economy and networking, most of all, networking and action plans for the future. So how do we transform and scale? Just in 2 minutes, in 1 minute here, I'll have to move on. The next slide, please. So we're highly adaptable, and our key motive now is to provide to provide changes and solutions to our customers even faster than they realize that they have problems, and even faster than the fast-changing reality. So that's our key understanding now, and we go through transformations within our core management, staff, and internal processes, and of course taking feedback of all the stakeholders. And finally, I have to mention that the final slide, the alumni relations is something that we are working on really hard at the moment. Alumni are not only participating at the management academy level, but also at the whole school and university, which means that they are like customers of that projects, and they bring the students the real cases that have to be solved. They also act as mentors and provide employment, internship opportunities for the bachelor's and master degree programs students. And the final, last but not least, we strive for continuous development. Lifetime improvement is like a philosophy for us, and currently we're going through the international accreditation and trying not only our program to be on the international level, but also the whole school. This way we're transferring it to the level of the school and further on to the level of the university. So that's how we're trying to make this concept of entrepreneurial university on a bigger scale. Thank you for your attention, and we are open for new relationship and cooperations with you.
Thank you very much for your quick speech. Next speaker is Mr. Cche Mishra, Head International Relations and Strategic Development, Voxen University, India. Please welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Nikita. And to the organizers, it's a wonderful conference, and thank you so much, Fefu, for your time. In the context of entrepreneurial university, we need to understand what is the true meaning of this entrepreneurial university. We need to understand that
Mr.
any university...
Sorry for interrupting. Your camera is watching on laptop. We're not... Can I see the screen, the presentation, if there is so?
No, there is no presentation, Nikita.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, okay. So there's the other screen. Okay, sorry for interrupting.
Sure. Sure. So what I was saying is, when we look at the university, which is entrepreneurial, they have the capacity to innovate, they have the risk-taking ability, and they have a hunger to create opportunities. Of course, we need to also understand that entrepreneurial universities need to work together as a team and respond to challenges timely. Right? There are 3 areas which I will be mentioning as part of the presentation. And there's a comment in the chat box that we cannot see the speaker. I just wanted to confirm, Nikita, are you able to see me?
We can see the presentation. Our title of the session, not the screen of yours.
No. Are you able to see the camera screen of mine?
No.
Just a second.
Коллеги, это на нашей стороне проблема.
Are you able to see it now, Nikita?
My colleagues are saying that you have switched off the camera. Yeah, right now it's okay.
The camera is on. Are you able to see now?
Yes, right now it's okay.
Awesome. Thank you. So apologies, and these are the technical glitches sometimes that we have to face, but we need to keep moving on. Moving forward, as I said, we will focus on 3 areas as part of this presentation. One is how do we nurture the culture in a university to set up incubation centers or to foster that industry collaborations, which most of our fellow speakers have mentioned on the panel. And having these industry collaborations is supposed to be an institutional priority for at any entrepreneurial university. In universities can improve collaboration by creating a very transparent framework for industry partnerships. And it is also important to understand that partnerships are going to be most successful when we collaborate parties with complementary assets and common values. It is important that industries and universities.
Sorry for interrupting. You are switching on the camera on the laptop, not turning the screen. Yeah, can you move it on yourself? A little bit lower. We can see like the room, the space, not the screen and not.
Are you able to see now, Nikita?
Okay, yeah, just, okay.
Is it better?
Okay, yeah, you can just move on. It's okay.
Sure. So what I was mentioning is, for any university, it is also important that we look at shared values or common values between industries and these universities, right? It is important for the collaborating parties, whether it is the government or industries or the universities, when they are coming together, to establish a consensus based on a clear understanding of what are the synergies to be created, whether it is in terms of research collaborations or it is in the terms of joint projects, or maybe working on bringing on a set of angel investors, venture capitalists to the campuses to ensure that most of the ideas which universities have when students at the undergraduate and the postgraduate level come forward, when these students are given the opportunities, I think that is best when these industries get to focus on what are the talents these entrepreneurial universities are bringing to the table. And it is also important to understand that not all partnerships and collaborations between academia and industry will work out. Collaborations will fail sometimes because of different expectations or different outcomes. Maybe it is because of the timing may be wrong, the investment may not be at the right time or at the right place. But one way that we can solve is to establish a common plan for collaboration with a clear calendar of communication and milestones, roster of counterparts with the desired set of outcomes which needs to be laid well in advance. One most important factor for any entrepreneurial university is agility. Since I represent Voxin, I will tell you that as a university, we are quite dynamic, agile, and forward-looking as an institution. So any university that needs to work on bringing the best to the table needs to be quick, needs to be responsive to the situations, and needs to be less bureaucratic.
Mr.
Another way which...
I very appreciate, thank you very much. We have just 10 minutes left, and we have
Sure.
3 speakers left.
Sure.
We are moving
I will
on.
just try to... I'll just try to sum it up in a line,
Okay.
Nikita, that since I represent internationalization, I would mention that for any entrepreneurial university, internationalization is a key aspect, whether it is part of the strategy in building the institution or ensuring that the timely actions are taken at every step, whether it is in building the projects that we are trying to make for the students and faculties, or bringing the right industry skill sets in the universities. That's my take.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We're moving to the next speaker, Dr. Narafadila Mohamed Nasri, Deputy Dean of Postgraduate Studies, University Kebangsaan, Malaysia. The floor is yours, but please limit your speech for 3 minutes, okay? Can you hear us? Okay, so there probably will switch to another speaker. Let's switch to Vladimir Nelup, our Director of Artificial Intelligence Technology Center, Bauman Moscow State Technical University, Russia, and author of 15 patents and over 100 scientific articles. Please welcome, 3 minutes.
Искусственный интеллект не имеет границ, особенно для АТС. Со многими странами мы уже перешли, кстати, на расчеты в национальной валюте. Считается, что это хорошая практика. И также мы надеемся, что и русский язык тоже получит у нас больше международное признание. Тем более, что мы находимся на острове Русском, поэтому я, собственно говоря, буду по-русски говорить. Посмотрим, как у нас переводчики отработают. А то сегодня никто их пока не задействовал. Главное, вот что мы сейчас для себя выделили, мы считаем, что искусственный интеллект он должен быть у нас доверенным. Мы присоединились к кодексу этики, как МГТУ имени Баумана, и следуем теперь этим принципам. И уже вот выступал Павел Драговоз, наш проректор,
our vice provost was speaking from our university, who spoke about how we're focusing on artificial intelligence at our university. And we really do take a large number of students from Apec. Now we have more and more students from Vietnam, Myanmar, China, and we have formed a special department for artificial intelligence.
Курс повышения квалификации, создан целый центр дополнительного профессионального образования. И в целом мы сейчас строим кампус мирового уровня. Это, наверное, будет первый кампус, который будет построен по новой программе. И мы здесь приглашаем всех, собственно говоря, к сотрудничеству. Что касается восточного вектора, про который вот сегодня все говорят, то МГТУ имени Баумана возглавляет Ассоциацию технических университетов России, Китая, Турк. И мы уже подписали соответствующее соглашение в области искусственного интеллекта с Харбинским политехническим университетом. Если говорить про то, с чем мы приехали на этот форум, на ВЭФ, то если можно, вот буквально пролистать там пару слайдов, чтобы время не задерживать, еще дальше, еще немножко, и еще чуть-чуть. И следующий слайд, я думаю, вот здесь, вот, да, просто это вот самый главный слайд, что время экономить. Это платформа, собственно говоря, искусственного интеллекта. Она построена на доверенной компонентной базе. Она сегодня является основной для нас, и мы надеемся, что она будет являться основной для Национального центра искусственного интеллекта. И именно на этой платформе будет построен ключевой стек технологий этого нового национального центра. Мы вокруг этой платформы объединили ключевых разработчиков в области искусственного интеллекта. Это 6 исследовательских центров, которые были созданы в рамках первой волны федерального проекта «Искусственный интеллект». И уже наши коллеги загружают, собственно говоря, туда свои модули. Модули касаются обработки фото, видеоинформации, значит, звука, текста и, самое главное, чисел. Вот, собственно говоря, наш призыв сегодня в том, чтобы и коллеги из ДВФУ подключились вот к этой вот такой платформе ГосИИ. Мы планируем здесь как бы отдельный кластер организовать с нашими коллегами из ДВФУ, и чтобы они тоже загружали свои модули на эти платформы. Это будет такой репозитарий лучших отраслевых практик, это будет набор таких отраслевых кейсов, которыми дальше все могут пользоваться. Конечно, это будет сделано на коммерческой основе, можно будет обучаться на этих кейсах, можно будет проводить соответствующие научные работы, а самое главное, что не нужно будет уже там другим организациям повторять как бы то, что уже сделано, допустим, в ДВФУ. И если говорить более глобально, то мы предлагаем этот репозиторий дальше расширить на страны АТЭС, опять же, синтегрировать лучшие практики отраслевые и собрать лучшие кейсы в области искусственного интеллекта. То есть вот как раз об этом был сегодня мой доклад. Давайте объединимся и сделаем такую платформу вместе. Спасибо.
Thank you very much. And the final report of the session will be delivered by Nur Farahin Nasri, postgraduate student, University Kebangsaan, Malaysia. The floor is yours. Please welcome. So Kebangsaan, Malaysia is not with us, right? Okay, so we can then finish our session. Thank you very much for substantive and informative reports. It was a great pleasure to see so many speakers with such a broad experience. So all our today's sessions reports will be included in the final document encompassing all your main topics. Thank you very much for your participation.